Well, let's talk about Joe Biden stepping down, because that's the big news of the day. Joe Biden started off his career a long time ago. Very long time ago. I don't know exactly when he started, but it was a real long time ago. And he'd been going at it for such a long time. Many decades. Joe Biden has been grinding away his life in pursuit of higher office. There was a time back, I think in the 70s, when he was one of the youngest senators. And he was in his early 30s, I believe, serving in office for the first time. And then that young man turned into an old man. And he continued to do what I believe was a solid effort to serve his country. Now, does that mean that I agree with him on everything? No, it does not. But there is such a thing as respecting a man for the legacy of his service. And Joe Biden has an amazing legacy of service. I think it's important to recognize that and to appreciate the sacrifices that people make in the pursuit of service or in the pursuit of their dreams. Now, as much as the next guy, it's super easy for me to go down the rabbit hole of making memes and laughing at people. It's just, I think it's part of human nature to want to do this. And I also think it's not terrible to make a bit of fun of politicians, because I firmly believe that if you sign up to be a politician, you understand you're going to be in the public eye and people are going to poke fun at you. So it is what it is. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Joe Biden memes out and about, traveling around the internet at the speed of light. But something that kind of has been on my mind is the importance of respect. Because the truth is, you can poke fun at somebody for being old or for making gaffes or something. And the truth of the matter is, we're all going to reach a point in our lives when we can't do what we once were able to do. And when we get to that place, we would want others to show us compassion and kindness. And I think it would be a real shame for somebody to spend their whole life trying to work their way up that thankless political ladder and then become the president of the United States and then have everybody remember them for all of their missteps and misspoken phrases and things like that. It just, I guess, all boils down to the golden rule. When we talk about politics, when we look at political figures, you know, do we have the right kind of an attitude? Or do we start to take pleasure in laughing at the downfall and the bad luck of others? It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you find yourself on. Nobody should get excited and get a sense of joy out of celebrating the failure of other people. And if that's something that you're doing, then you probably ought to stop. And I know I'm guilty of it. I think we all are guilty of it sometimes, when we kind of feel like maybe somebody deserves something that comes to them. And then we kind of have this sort of a, I told you so. I called it kind of a messaging. And that's toxic. That's unfriendly. It's not supportive. It's not building anyone up. And so much of life winds up being like that. That's one reason why I like gaming so much, because I think in the space surrounding gaming, not all gaming, but for the greater part, there's a sense of camaraderie, a sense of fair sportsmanship, a sense of sharing an equal and equitable playing field. And in life, when you look around, you'll see so many people who are self-absorbed, obsessed with saying cruel things to people or about people. There's so much throwing of blame and saying of cruel things and celebrating the failure of other people. I think it's important to distance yourself from all of that, to let those things go and say, I'm going to spend my time thinking about things that are positive, things that are peaceful, things that build people up, and not things which are a laugh at someone else's expense, not things that are celebrating the failure of other people. And so maybe politics isn't the most healthy thing to spend all your time consuming. I'm not saying you shouldn't be interested in it, but if you're always spending all your time thinking about that, is that really edifying? Is that really something that builds you up and builds other people up? Or is it something that maybe it's more toxic than it is positive? And if that's the case, probably let some of that stuff go, because life's too short to spend it raging about what's going on in the White House or what is going on in the next election cycle or anything like that. We should just respect each other, respect ourselves, and if there comes a time when we need to do something to perform our duty to ourselves or our friends or our family or our country, then yes, be willing to serve, but don't spend your time looking around to see what other people are or aren't doing and then weighing in your 2 cents to kind of be the judge of other people's lives. Because the truth is, when we all get to the end of our lives, other people are going to judge us. And we will always look at the times when other people judge us and we'll say, well, that's not fair. I really don't like to be having someone talk about me behind my back, or I don't like having those little slings and arrows cast at me. But the truth is, if we live our lives always gravitating toward that dark humor, toward that tendency to laugh at someone else's expense, or throw stones, well, we can't be surprised when one day it comes back to us and then we are the butt of a joke, or we are treated poorly by people who would rather criticize us than recognize our achievements or build us up. So whether it's a political figure or a person that maybe you work with, or a friend or something, don't let yourself be that person who always looks and says, oh my goodness, I told you so. I knew you were going to fail. I saw that coming a mile away. Don't be that person, because everyone has to deal with the consequences of their actions, the end result of their lives. And that's plenty enough judgment without you adding your 2 cents and gloating or flexing or bragging over something that is a hard time in the life of someone else. And I know it's tempting. I know it's tempting because we feel like we kind of feed off of those things. But the truth is, if you discipline yourself to be kind when you're tempted to be critical, to be patient and understanding when you're tempted to be cynical, if you choose to have that lifestyle, in the end, you're never going to look back and say, oh my goodness, my life wasn't as good because I didn't make fun of people as much or something like that. It's one of those things. In the moment, it's always fun to kind of talk smack to or about people, but when all's said and done, you'll never look back on your life and say that you're proud of that, or you wish that you would have gossiped more or anything like that. So whatever is wholesome, whatever builds people up, whatever does no harm, focus on those things. And don't be so obsessed with anything that you allow yourself to lose your core values along the way, because you are, sacrificing your principles so that you can join the crowd and jump on a bandwagon of criticism or hatefulness or bitter attitudes. Learn to be patient and kind, and if you don't have anything nice to say, just don't say anything at all. Focus on doing what your duty is to do. Focus on enjoying your life. Beyond that, focus on having fun with your life and trying to make other people's lives more enjoyable along the way if you can. And beyond a wholesome effort, be compassionate with yourself and understanding of others. And if you live by that, you're probably going to have a better life in the end anyway. So regardless of who's in the White House or who isn't, always look at people and remember that they are human just like you. So don't be too hard on anyone. After all, we all have a similar end, and no matter how easy it is to poke fun at people, it's not easy to walk a mile in their shoes. So, till next time, good luck on your adventure, and as always, thanks for watching.